I want you to listen to Nyoro's statement here and listen to that statement twice.
I should not be coming here as budget chair to convince Kenyans how the economy is growing. It is the Kenyan people who should be telling me the economy is growing. And therefore that calls upon us, all of us in this hall, that all the policies that we make must advance an egalitarian society, must promote equality and equity, so that even as the economy grows, it should not be growing in such a forum. It should be growing in the pockets of the Kenyan people, and I think that is a component of making sure our resources are well distributed. I should not be coming here as budget chair to convince Kenyans how the economy is growing. It is the Kenyan people who should be telling me the economy is growing. And therefore that calls upon us, all of us in this hall, that all the policies that we make must advance an egalitarian society, must promote equality and equity, so that even as the economy grows, it should not be growing in such a forum. It should be growing in the pockets of the Kenyan people, and I think that is a component of making sure our resources are well distributed.
And I think, finally, people are getting to their senses. In the run-up to 2022 general election, I kept on saying that the political class should stop talking about figures and data when describing the state of economy. And if things are working, the political class will not struggle to explain to mwananchi what exactly is the state of economy. What Nyoro have spoken carries volumes. Remember during the Kindiki inauguration, the deputy president said that he's been a lone ranger in the presidency because there are so many things that according to him Kenya Kwanza is doing, but there is no one to communicate those things. And when we might think he was addressing Kindiki, but that statement was targeting the whole Kenya Kwanza battalion, including the spokesperson, Mwaura. Tomorrow I will tell you why Mwaura is also in the chopping board. So what Nyoro is saying there is the true position, that when things are working, the politicians, the leaders will not spend a lot of money, resources, fueling cars, and buying airtime in mainstream media to explain to Kenyans about the state of economy. And I like what Nyoro is saying. If the economy is working, let it work uko kwa ground. It is not those figures that the economists come up with. It is not a textbook. It is not a textbook economics. The real feel is when mwananchi can feel the reprieve. So it is not about the professors and PhD holders and financial experts. It is not exclusively about what they say and the figures they cook and tell the president. The president goes to rallies and events and churches talking about how inflation has reduced by double digits. How, I don't know, saving as a percentage of our GDP or tax as a percentage of our GDP. Mwananchi cannot understand that. But if there is a reprieve, the economy, mwananchi will understand if that economy is working. And in real sense, Nyoro is telling the president that I will not spend time to tell the people of Kenya, to lie to the people of Kenya that things are good, if in real sense things are not working. I think that should be the position. finally, Ndidi Nyoro has joined the club of the truthful men. Sometimes it's also good to belong to that club of the truthful men, even though being truthful sometimes is not very cool, especially in the political corridors. I'm talking about this because Kenya Kwanza administration is living a lie. They're living a big lie. And I'm saying they're living a big lie because after Kenyans raised their voices on the finance bill, it cannot be so fast. Just 3 months later, we are repeating the same mistake. And so in this podcast, I will tell you that why Kenya Kwanza is living a lie. When Kenyans rejected the finance bill, the president in numerous occasions said, and I think this after picking Mbadi, that number one, they are signing PPP, multi-billion deals with giant companies, such like the takeover of JKIA, the She one that is going on and others, so that the taxes that can be collected can be freed for overall budget support. That will lower appetite for taxes, for more tax, so that, and the best way to lower the appetite to collect more taxes and of course breaking the back of Wanjiku is to enter into PPP deals. PPP is the public-private partnerships. That is what the country was told. But contrary to that, something sinister is cooking. John Mbadi is introducing new taxes, not even new taxes, zero-rated. Is zero-rating diapers, imported diapers. A move that economists say is going to increase the cost of diapers and sanitary pads. I remember during Gen Z protest, women joined it, that protest, and ladies. They said, hawataki, they don't even want us to see our menstrual cycle. People raised their voices against it. And when that proposal was sent to Parliament, Ndidi Nyoro, who is the head of budget committee, replied and told Treasury that introducing more taxes is not going to help government scoop more. There is empirical evidence that even as you increase more tax policies, it doesn't directly mean that we'll collect more. And so they should efficiently look for, just use the existing structures and policies, but make them efficient. That story was done by Citizen.
Just like jumping from the frying pan to the fire, President William Ruto's administration is yet again faced with another headache, that of economic stabilization occasioned by the rejection of the Finance Bill 2024, a move that led to slashing of expenditure, reducing ministerial allocations and freezing new development projects planned for different parts of the country. The Parliamentary Budget Office is a professional body that provides professional advice to the legislature with respect to budget, finance and economics. In its latest report dubbed Budget Watch for 2024-2025, the office is sounding a red alert due to the budget cuts occasioned by the rejection of the Finance Bill 2024 and revenue shortfalls. Development expenditure in the country has increased its dependency on development partners or donors who account for 43% of the development budget. At a time that the Treasury has presented a raft of proposals for consideration, some of which had been rejected in the Finance Bill 2024, the Parliamentary Budget Office warns that introducing new tax policies does not guarantee better compliance or high revenue. PBO says that indirect effects of tax policies should be carefully considered before before introducing new amendments. In its recommendation to the state, the Budget Office says the government should prioritize alternative approaches to revenue enhancement over new tax proposals, including closely monitoring current tax administration systems and ensuring their full implementation and effectiveness. According to the report, instead of relying on new tax policies, which are likely to create new tax burdens on Kenyans, the government should focus on improving tax administration through better enforcement of current tax policies. In the 2022-2023 financial year, Treasury recorded a revenue shortfall of 123 billion shillings. In the following year, ending June 2024, the revenue shortfall rose to 205 billion shillings. And with the revenue shortfalls now a thorn in the government's expenditure, the budget strain is visible and worrying. The Budget Office is now calling for strict expenditure rationalization by reducing non-priority expenditures, a rollout of the e-procurement system to improve transparency, as well as identification of commercially viable projects and to be undertaken under public-private partnership.
And Nyoro opposed those taxes. Today, I saw Mbadi-Ndii warning the country and telling the country that they should not expect any reprieve. The tax regime is going to be more hostile to their pockets.
Is still in the IMF program, cutting taxes would be a pipe dream. His sentiment coming amid the reintroduction of aspects of the finance bill as government seeks to raise at least 174 billion shillings. Ndii, however, notes that the government is working on implementing key reforms aimed at spreading the tax burden, which he says falls unproportionally on salaried Kenyans.
People going to see relief. I want to make reference to something I said before. When you're in an IMF program, you are in the receivership. There's no relief. You're only going to get relief when you come out of receivership. When companies are in receivership, what do? They cut costs, they lay off people. The turnaround is costly and it is difficult. The question is, many countries don't do it. The reason why many countries have remained where they are and they are in cycles of macroeconomic crisis is because they don't bite the bullet. They take Panadol for their headaches and don't deal with whatever. An IMF program is just a palliative. What we want to do is the structural things that we are doing. And that's why we entitled this thing Navigating Turbulence. So we can't keep going back to the question, how much relief do we provide at this point in time? At this point in time, zero.
Because they're still going to tax more. It is not bad to tax, but I'm a bit shocked that there is just one side of this story. It is about collection, but the part of expenditure is not well taken care of. In fact, the public has been asking, I'm glad we are back to this discussion. The public has been asking, we've not employed the JSS teachers. We postponed it to January and we're still backpedaling on it. Counties, governors are issuing press briefings every week about how operations at the counties are going down. Were it not for the on-source revenue, I think some of the counties could have been shut. And as we speak, quite a number of gaps are in different sectors. Even some clinical officers are still striking. But we are collecting taxes. So, the government, Kenya Kwanza, is repeating the same mistake. And I want to show you. Someone told the president that the reason why Kenyans opposed finance bill is because the communication was poor. The communication was not poor. It did not even exist. No, poor is even making it better, that wamesema wakasema vibaya. It did exist. And this communication is not that it's not that there were no media to cover the story. The media covered finance bill well. Be it the social media, be it the Twitter, the TikTok, the Facebook, the YouTube, the mainstream media. Wanjiku knew about finance bill. Wanjiku knew about what was in that finance bill. But what Wanjiku did not appreciate, and I think I'm saying they're repeating the same mistake. Wanjiku did not know about the diapers. There is an argument that Ichung'wah brought in the National Assembly that he said that people were lied to, that finance bill is bad, and that the diapers, the taxes on the imported diapers was going to increase the price of diapers. But then they are saying that they are protecting local manufacturers who are interested in it. But the question they are not answering is, for the last, I don't know how many years, we've been using imported diapers and sanitary pads. We've been using it. Where is the red flag that they are now bad? And now we now have to protect the public from those diapers. And I don't want to be skewed enough. I want to accept that we need to protect our local companies. Because when they produce enough, then they're going to create employment. But can you show us data? How many diapers can be produced locally here at a cost-effective price so that it can still retail at the price of those imported ones? If the sugar sector, let's say for example sugar sector, the cost of producing sugar, ukitoka kwa mkulima wa miwa all the way to the finished product, is going to give you a more expensive sugar than importing from another country in packaging. So have we created a good profit margin or incentives to manufacturers of the diapers so that they can get their margins, and their margins can sustain the cost of operation? And we've provided incentives so that we have many manufacturers that can produce enough. Because while we want to protect, if we are saying we don't want to import, we want to reduce those who are importing, when we increase the taxes, then the cost of that will become expensive. Where is the guarantee that the one that is produced locally here is cheap? Where is the guarantee? The raw material used here is imported. That raw material that manufacturer in Kenya is using is taxed to its maximum. That raw material is taxed. Everyone in that company is taxed. Everything in that supply chain is taxed. So where is the guarantee that what we're going to do is going to give us a better price pad or diapers? Listen to Ichung'wah.
And I'll take you back, Honorable Speaker, to the Finance Bill 2024. And Honorable Speaker, because I have seen the CS of National Treasury bring in a number of proposals that were very good proposals that were carried in the Finance Bill 2024, Honorable Speaker. We went out to collect views of the public through the public participation exercise that the member for Molo, the Honorable Kimani Kuria, spent, I think, close to 14 days seated in County Hall, listening to Kenyans. And Kenyans came in their numbers to give their views. They said they do not want taxation on bread. They said they do not want to see taxation on motor vehicles. Kimani Kuria and the Finance Committee did a report which was tabled and adopted by this House in second reading, agreeing with members of the public that there should be no taxation on bread, no taxation on motor vehicles. Kenyans out there from the manufacturing industry, Honorable Speaker, industry, appeared before the Finance Committee and told them that we are killing our manufacturing industry in Kenya because we are encouraging more of imports than local manufacturing. And it was players in the manufacturing industry through KEPSA, through the Kenya Association of Manufacturers, that brought proposals that would protect our local manufacturing industry, made proposals to levy excise duty on completed or finished products being imported from China, the Far East, Europe, including diapers and sanitary towels. But what happened, Honorable Speaker? The public were incited to believe that this House was levying tax on all diapers, on all sanitary towels, and you remember our young daughters telling us in their parlance out there, hawa wabunge hata hawataki tunyeshe sasa. You know, Honorable Speaker, how embarrassing when we saw it was when we watched our daughters, our teenage daughters, telling us that hatutaki wanyeshe. Whereas it is them that we sought to protect. It is our young mothers, our young daughters, our sisters we sought to protect from cheap, completed products of sanitary towels, which nobody can authenticate how hygienic they are. The standards that they've been manufactured under in the West and in the Far East, Honorable Speaker. And some of these Far East countries, Honorable Speaker, you know, they have no standards. You get what you pay for. And it is that we sought to levy excise duty on, so that we protect that local manufacturer who is manufacturing sanitary towels in Mlolongo, another one in Ruiru, another one in Juja, another one in Nakuru, Honorable Speaker. It is the farmer in Western Kenya and Luo Nyanza and parts of Nyanza, Honorable Speaker, that we sought to protect, who has now been given cotton seed, BT cotton seed, to produce cotton for the value addition of these manufacturing industries, Honorable Speaker. It is the Kenyan youth who are on the streets we sought to protect, to create jobs for them in those factories here, Honorable Speaker. But what did we do? We were told, reject. We rejected, we lost jobs. We rejected, we exported jobs to the Far East. No wonder, Honorable Speaker, today, when CS Mutua announces 3,000 jobs, in Qatar, 30,000 Kenyans turn up at KICC. I want to plead with the Kenyan people, and more so our fourth estate, Honorable Speaker. Let us be responsible in how we communicate to our people.
And that's why I'm saying, in fact, if you realize, MPs are shying away from discussing that amendment. William Ruto is slowly coming back with the 2024-2025 finance bill that was rejected. Is it deliberate? Is it by mistake? No, it is deliberate. Our tax regime is very unpredictable. And I think I want to tell you why Ruto is repeating this mistake. Kindly subscribe to our channel, click the notification bell and like our videos. And thank you very much for supporting this podcast. We do this every day just because of your support. And thank you very much for supporting us. I'm seeing 4 reasons why this mistake is being repeated. I think Kenya Kwanza feels they've deflated resistance. First, you know, you've taken over Kasmuel from that Gen Z grouping, taking him to ODM. You've suppressed Morara Kebaso, and some other people that were on the front line have also been arrested and detained. Others are disappeared. Some are found in the thicket. And there is some fight. Today, I was around, where's this place? Ukitoka Greenspan, around Davana Hotel. Some young man was being abducted. I don't know when to say his arrest. I don't know what's the difference between arrest and abducted. Because the guys that were picking him up were in plain clothes. Of course, they were armed. And he was just put in the car boot. And it was a normal car, not a police car with a government number plate. It was just this normal cabs. And of course, the members of the public were just staring. I even saw, I was driving. I was like, what? The guys in dreads. By the way, if you know, Tuwako amepotea around that place, was picked up. And the members of the public were just staring. So we know that we've suppressed protest. And so we can come back and do it. I think we are living a lie. But again, why are we just introducing these taxes after impeaching Rigathi? Did someone convince the president that Rigathi is the person that triggered the resistance against finance bill? Did someone tell Rigathi, the president, that Rigathi was the obstacle? And so because Rigathi is out, Kenyans cannot resist the finance bill. I'm a bit more curious. That will be, but I'm glad even PBO, Budget Office in the Parliament, have said no. I think the KK have also refused to listen to the people. And lastly, Ruto is being lied to that the economy is now stable. And so we can just do this. Economy is stable. So what afford you? Now they won't complain. I think there's a whole lot of people, think tank around the presidency, that really needs to go home if these things are still revived. Because what happened to, we are now rolling giant projects and will not use your taxes for those projects because we're using PPP. What happened? What happened to, we are now still taking loans, but now we'll reduce those loans, but we'll take, what happened to, we've stopped doing this and that because finance bill is, you got shida. Come on, finance bill, if these things are being sticked, the problem is bigger and probably might not be solved anytime soon. Thank you guys. Let's meet in the next. It's Penina Nyambura. This was huyu ndio shosh alikuwa peke yake, and let me just tell you how we provided solutions there. Huyu shamba alikuwa naisha alipewa, yes, they were given those allotment letters, but apparently nyumba alijengewa ilishanguka. So the grandchildren ndio walikuwa nyumba zao zilikuwa ziko hapo. So she was just using a makeshift structure. Now what would happen is when the grandchildren come, alisema she feels unsafe or she feels like anawafinyilia. Now she has to leave and go back to that kitchen, which is now the house yenye alikuwa amejengewa. So this house we built for Nyambura, she will use it alone, peke yake, and she was very happy. And may God bless you. Now, that is Penina Nyambura. This other one is Alice Kamande. But then apparently Alice akona watoto 6, she told us. Kuna watoto 6. Some, there is only one, yule mwenye mwana pale, tulikuwa na yeye. I think I showed her in the video. But the others awako there, and what she could not directly say, but we also gathered kwamba alcohol and illicit brew, it's a big problem. So she's also gotten that place. Malikuwa nalala ni kwa nyumba kingine kadogo ya mbao, and it was also destroyed. So she's got another one, and then the last one is Mzee Njuguna Munyu. Yeah, Njuguna Munyu. This one here, yeye pia anaishi peke yake actually in that home. Yes, anaishi peke yake. And he was telling me yeye ndiye alikuwa ananiambia hana choo. Yeah, so I tried telling some people there, nimeona huko wameweka stima. At least the local community sasa wale ambao the MCA there are trying to get contact, awajengee mzee show, ajengee mzee choo. Yeah, na pia ikewe maji so that mzee apate usaidizi. But if one of you will be willing, I can be able to directly link you so that mnaweza jengea mzee choo. Yeah, hiyo ndio shida pekee sasa yanabaki nayo. But of the house, he's gotten a house. And thank you, we've made an impact. That for sure, guys, I can tell you, we've really made good impact. If you want to partner with Granny Care in future, then Manda is there. And I want to tell you, Granny Care is the symbolic, the flagship project of the Bold Network. God willing, we are going to register it to a full foundation. We are in that process. But Granny Care is our project now. So this is a project that will move across different counties. We've done Kilifi, we've been to Kisumu, now we're in Nyandarua. We will go somewhere else. But if you want to partner with us and know more about, contact us and you can continue supporting. Hata kama unataka kujenga ingine ya Kilifi uliona, you can still reach out, you can still link and build another one if you want to support someone else. And now that is the program.